Hello YouTube. So today I'm going to be making another video about mermails, covering sort of the cards coming out in Supreme Darkness and what they add to the deck. So there's three new ones. The first one is this one here, Xyz the Rumbling Atlantean. So this card is a level 7 water, and the opponent here it's Sea Serpent, so we can search it with Dragoons. And its effects are your opponent's monsters cannot target this card you control for an attack while you control a monster other than Xyz. And then it's got two other effects that you can only use once per turn. It's a hard once per turn. So you can send a water monster from your hand or face that field to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. So already better than Megalo in that you're only sending one card as cost. And you can also send from the field, which is amazing. Fortunately not a quick effect, but can't have everything. And then the second effect is, if it's normal or special summoned, you can send an Atlantean or Mermail from your deck to the graveyard, then target a card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So going second, this adds a lot of power to breaking boards, obviously, because you can send a heavy infantry and deal with two cards on your opponent's board. You can send a Shadow Squad to summon a Neptibus if you don't have access to that. You can send a Dragoons to search for a Neptibus. It really does add a lot to the deck. And it replaces sort of Megalo. But even if you weren't playing Megalo before, I think it's worth playing this. Potentially it could be worth playing 3 copies across your main and side deck, siding more in for when you're going second, but I think you should at least be maining one of this. Then we get a new rank 7 Xyz, Abyss trait, the Atlantean Spirit. So it's 2+ level 7 waters. Your water monsters gain 300 attack and defense for each material attached to it, and you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it's Xyz summoned, you can target a level 7 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua and special summon it from your graveyard. And you can detach one material from this card, set an Abyss trap from your deck. So there's a couple of Abyss traps. There's one new one, and there's obviously a couple old ones. There's Sphere, the original one. Probably not worth playing in this day and age. There's this one, Abyss Squall. So if you don't know what this does, it's target 3 Mermail monsters in your graveyard, special summon those targets and face up defense. Their effects are negated and they cannot declare an attack. Destroy them in the end phase. This one potentially could be worth playing. I'm not sold on it, but it's worth experimenting with at least, because it's a pretty strong comeback. And there's a couple of other ones that aren't relevant. And then there's one new one, Abyss Team. So you can draw cards equal to a number of different monster types among the monsters you control that are fish, sea serpent, aqua. So potentially you draw 3. That's quite powerful. You can not special summon from the extra deck until the end of the turn after this card resolves, except water monsters. It's not really relevant for the deck, so that's fine. If a water monster is destroyed by battle or a card effect while it's in the grave, you can banish this card, add a Mermail monster from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. So it adds quite a lot of recursion. I'm still not sold on whether it's worth playing or not, but it's definitely worth considering at the very least. So we'll see what those cards add to sort of the basic combo line. So if we start with Neptibus and 4 blank cards, they can be anything. So we can normal summon the Neptibus, uses effect, sending Shadow Squad to the graveyard to search for Atlantean Dragoons. We can use the Shadow Squad effect to summon Abyss Pike. And then we use the Abyss Pike, discarding the Dragoons, to search for the Abyss Shrine. Now we can trigger the Dragoons to search for the new Xyz card, so just put it there to represent it in our hand. Now we can use the Abyss Shrine, attributing itself and the Neptibus to search for Abyss Teus. And we can trigger the Neptibus in the grave to summon back the Dragoons. And we can overlay these two for Bahamut Shark. And that's our 4th summon. So for our 5th summon, we'll detach from the Bahamut Shark, detaching the Dragoons, importantly, to summon Totally Awesome. Now we'll trigger the Dragoons to search for Mermail and Atlantean, the Elemental Lord, and we have 4 waters in grave at the moment. So we discard the Poseidra for the Abyss Teus, giving us 5 in the graveyard. We'll search with the Teus, searching for, doesn't really matter, but we'll go for Shadow Squad. And now we've got 5 in grave, so we summon the Mermail and Atlantean, taking 2 cards out of our opponent's hand, so they've got 3 cards. Now we can link these 2 off for the Coralline enemy, and we'll use the Coralline enemy effect to revive the Shadow Squad from our grave. Now we can use the Shadow Squad effect, discarding a card to make these 2 level 7, and overlay them for the new Xyz. That's right. On a summon, she will trigger, bringing back our Atlantean Dragoons. Now we can use her effect, detaching 1, to set an Abyss trap. So for just theory, we'll do it. So we'll set that from our deck, and then we will overlay Poseidra on top. Now we will link Coralline enemy and the Poseidra away for our Mermail King Neptibus, and we'll use the effect of the Poseidra engrave, discarding the Shadow Squad, to summon up to 3, summoning exactly 3, level 3 or lower monsters. So we'll summon the 2 Shadow Squads and the Abyss Shrine. And we could also summon the Neptibus if we chose to search for something else instead of the Shadow Squad there. So we'd always have something to summon. Alright, and then we'll trigger the Neptibus to search for Abyss Triana, because a water was discarded to activate an effect. Now we can overlay these 2 for the Virtue Dragon. Detach the Abyss Shrine. Oh, on summon, search for the trap, don't forget that. And then detach from it to add the Atlantean Prince back to our hand. Now we can use the Abyss Sting to bring back the Abyss Pike. Overlay those 2 for Bahamut Shark. Detach the Dragoons for Bahamut Shark's effect to summon our second Totally Awesome. Trigger the Dragoons, searching for the Heavy Infantry. And Triana's engraved now. Then we can link these 2 off for the Abyss Atlantean. So what have we got in our hand? We've got Virtue Stream, Neptibus, Heavy Infantry, 3 other cards, and we've also got a set Abyss Trap that, whether you play it or not, up to you. I don't think it's really worth it, but you could have that in addition. So on our opponent's turn, what have we got? We've got 2 negates with Totally Awesome. If you run one of the negate equips, you can have another one with the Neptibus. We've got Abyss Atlantean being able to discard either Prince or Infantry. We have the Abyss Shrine and Graveyard to be able to discard one of these 2 as well. So now the reason we added the Neptibus back is you can, if you discard the Neptibus, you can bring back the Poseidon. And if that comes back, then we can send from our deck to the graveyard as cost to bounce one. So we could send a Dragoons, we could send, yeah, pretty much anything. So we can get more follow-up of that. And obviously we've got the Heavy Infantry, and we've got two ways to get both of those engraved. We've got the Shrine Engrave and the Elysia, and then we've also got the Set Virtue Stream. So that's a lot of interaction points, really. If you play more than one Heavy Infantry, you could get 3 pops, so 3 removals. So one from the one in your hand, one in your deck, and one from the Poseidon and summoning itself. As well as 2 negates, potentially a 3rd negate. You've got an Icarus attack as well. So that's a very powerful board, and your opponent's also lost 2 cards from their hand. Don't forget that. So what does it mean for the extra deck? Well, it means we don't need to use 2 Abyss Gaios, because we don't need to use 1 to make the Poseidon, so we can have that second slot. Well, you can place one of the 2 if you're playing 2 for the new one, and you still have Abyss Gaios for follow-up, or if you have a slightly different hand, you can have it on board without having to use it to do the Poseidon lines. That's great. The trap, you could draw more cards for next turn, or you can just draw hand traps. Great too. With this board, we only have, so we've got Sea Serpent and Aqua. We don't have fish, so we'd only be drawing 2 of it. I don't think we have a way to summon a fish either. No, we don't have a way to summon a fish. But still, that's worth mentioning. Draw 2. That's great. Yeah, and obviously, as I said before, Sidra, very powerful playing into boards. Potentially it could be worth maining more than 1. I think it might be worth playing 3 and having 2 in your side deck, or 1 in your side deck, 2 in your main. I wouldn't main 3, I don't think, but playing 3 seems like it could be a really good idea. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Let me know what you think of the new support and what it adds to the deck down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, everyone.